What's going on, everybody? What's going on, my lifers? Good to see you guys in the chat. Nikki T, you are much too kind. Thank you so much for your donation. I appreciate it so much, man. That's really cool of you. I hadn't even said anything yet, and you donated. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Nikki T. Good to see you as usual. What's going on, my man Aramis? Good to see you, brother. Great Dane. It is always a pleasure, young lady, to see you in the chat. See you here on the show. I hope everybody is having a great day. I hope everyone is having a great evening. It's been a pretty interesting day. Yeah, it should be a good topic, Nikki. Should be a really good topic. Guys, I'm sure there'll be more people to come in here in a bit. But I would like this one, especially to be a call-in show. So if you guys want to call in and discuss your experience or the experience of someone that you know, make sure to call. Make sure to call in. The number would be 270-2094. We'll get to that in a bit. What's up, AKA Perez? I haven't seen you in a while. Self-care boss, good to see you again, young lady. Self-care boss and I had a great little lunch today. We had a nice conversation. It was cool to see the sister today. Really good time. Really enjoyed conversing with that sister. It's a good time. It's a good time. Had some crazy stories to tell, so that was really fun. So I enjoyed it. I had a really good time today. But shout out to Self-Care Boss. She is going to I'm going to go to her for a massage here soon. So guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to her YouTube channel and check out her work. She explained to me how she does her work. So I'm really looking forward to having a session with her. The way she explained it, it's not just an average, you go in, get a massage and go out. It's a whole experience of how she helps you help yourself take care of yourself. It was really cool. I was really kind of blown away by the way she describes how she's going to set that whole session up. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to having my my massage by Self-Care Boss. So you guys hit her up. Hit her up. Great Dane, you are crazy. Oh, that's funny. So yeah, guys, I thought today we would talk about this young marriage culture in the Watchtower. And I know I'm not the only one who knows about this. But I know about it because it happened to me. And a lot of the people that I knew went through the same thing, where they were getting married at an extremely young age. And I got married at 18. She was What's up, KB? KB says, Keith, where you been? I've been trying to get my podcast on while batch cooking, and you've been MIA. I have been MIA, but I've been BIA for for last week, and I've been getting back on. So yeah. So yeah. What's going on, KB? So yeah, I got married at age 18. Way too young. Now I know that there are people in the world. Hey, what's going on, exclusive CRJ? Good to see you. There are people in outside of the organization that get married at age 18 and get married way too young. I realize that. But I think it's a bit more of an epidemic. Missed you too, KB. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I think it's more of an epidemic in the Watchtower organization because dating is so frowned upon. It's so hard to just date somebody. What's going on, Junk Food Vegan? I haven't seen you in a long time. It's good to see you back in here. I mean, I haven't seen you in a long time, probably because I haven't been here in a long time until last week. So I can't fault you for that. That would be my bad. But yeah, most of the people in the organization is you're unable to just date or have a girlfriend. There has to be some purpose behind it. What's going on, Willow B? So not only was I someone that got married young, there were a lot of people around me who got married young. And the first thing that everyone says when they see you get married young like that, the first thing they say is, oh, well, you're getting married young because you're trying to have sex. That's probably true in a lot of cases. In my case, though, we had sex before we got married, but it was only and I've told this story before. It was only because I couldn't get baptized. I never even brought up sex with my ex-wife when we were just dating. She brought it up before I did. I was trying to be a good little Jehovah's Witness, and she was too. I'm not trying to put anything like that on her. She was an auxiliary pioneer for a long time. She was really a really good woman. I'm not gonna disparage her at all, because she was a good woman at that time when we were dating. She was a really good Jehovah's Witness. But I didn't bring it up because I didn't want to be disrespectful to her. And I think once after so long, we just both started thinking about it, and I didn't bring it up. But we talked about it, and then eventually it kind of just happened. Well, it didn't just happen, and we planned on it. We just like, let's just do it. And this was after I tried to get baptized, and they wouldn't let me get baptized at this point. At that point, I just didn't care. I was like, you know what? I tried to do the right thing. I tried to be good, and you guys aren't letting me do that. So, bam, we're going to have sex, right? But the question, though, is why does it seem so rampant? Why does it seem like everybody, and I know we all know someone who got married super young, and we all knew exactly why they were getting married. Now, if you want to call in, I'll leave the lines open for the most part of the show. Okay, for most of the show, I'll leave the number up so you guys can call in if you want to. Let's see. Hold on. Let's make sure it stays up. There we go. So, what happened with us, though, when we got I'm trying to figure out if I want to go through this whole story, but um, once we started dating, and I've gone through this story before. I was going over the questions to get baptized, and one of the elders in the congregation busted into my meeting to go over the questions, and just pretty much just stopped it, just halted it, and was telling me that my girlfriend's father didn't like, me seeing her or whatever. And so they started asking me questions like, what are you? Junk food vegan says, tell the story. So I'm in the little room, and you all know what the little room is, the little room in the back. The little room. I'm back in the little damn room, going over these damn questions to get baptized, right? The brother's name was Ernest Harris, older brother, and I really, really had love for Ernest Harris. He was a good man. He was a good dude. He literally just wanted the best for me. So he would come and pick me up and take me out in field service with him sometimes. He was really trying to help me become a baptized Jehovah's Witness, right? Now his son, his name was Carlin. I really didn't like him at all. Now I didn't dislike him as much as I disliked James Fletcher. But, and I'm just putting these people's names like, I don't care at this point. I mean, what they gonna do? So Ernest Harris is going over the questions with me. I'm answering the questions. I've studied all this stuff, so I know the answer to these questions. Now, his son, Carlin Harris, a guy that I really don't like that much, busts in. Hey, we got to stop. This is literally how he comes in the room. He comes in the room, opens the door. All right, this has to stop. This has to stop. And his father is looking up at him like, what are y'all doing? Like, we're both looking around because they busted in like the damn SWAT team. And he's like, this has got to stop. This can't continue. They literally busted in as if they were breaking up some type of, robbery in progress. Right? So his father is like, what are you doing? What's going on? What are you doing? So his son commences to tell the story of how my girlfriend's father dislikes me seeing her, right? So now, when I was a teenager, the way I'm dressed right now is the way I dressed every day. And I still pretty much, for the most part, dress, nice every day until I get tired. I was like, all right, I'll take a day off. But for the most part, I always dress like this. I always look nice. JJ Jr. said, it was a raid. So Carlin Harris said, well, he doesn't like you seeing his daughter because he says the way you dress. He doesn't like the way you dress. And I said, what do you mean? I always dress up. I always look nice when I come to see, his daughter. And he said, well, he accused you. He doesn't like the type of sunglasses that you wear. He doesn't like the way you always dress nice or the way you dress. And I'm thinking, dude, I always wear either the stuff I wear to the Kingdom Hall, because most of the time we're coming straight out of field service, or we're coming from the meetings when I even get to go see her. So I'm always dressed in the same clothes I wear to the Kingdom Hall. So, what is he talking about? He said, well, he thinks that he accused you of being a homosexual. He said because you always dress nice and the way you dress when you come to see his daughter. And I'm thinking, he literally said that he thinks I'm a homosexual because I always dress nice to come see his daughter. That makes absolutely no sense. That makes no sense. So another brother that was in the room with us, his name was James Cobbs, Brother Cobbs. And Brother Cobbs is all these motherfuckers have known me since I was born, literally. Known me since I was born. Brother Cobbs was the only person in the room that took up for me. Brother Cobbs said, now hold on now. He had a really funny way of talking. Now hold on now. We all have known Keith since he was born. I don't even know who this man is that's talking about Keith. We can't have this man just going around talking about Keith like this. We've all known Keith all his life. He's an upstanding brother. We can't allow this man to go around disparaging Keith like that. What are you talking about? This is exactly what James Cobb said. And I was like, dang it. James Cobb, that's my dude right there. James, that's my dude. I was all about James Cobb after that. I was like, that's my dude. That's my dude. Right? I'm like, there you go. Take up for your boy. Cause y'all know me. You know, and the whole time I'm gonna throw this out there just to throw it out there. But the whole time I was at the Kingdom Hall, I had a way where I would always go to another Kingdom Hall and try to find the cutest girl there and talk to her. And so it just so happened, that my girlfriend was the hottest girl at this other Kingdom Hall. And so I saw like, yeah, I gotta holler at her. I gotta holler at her, right? But she was my best friend's cousin too, so that kind of helped too. But she just also so happened to be the baddest girl at her Kingdom Hall too. So anyway, just to throw that out there, you know, you had to go to other Kingdom Halls and try to figure out, who the baddest one at the Kingdom Hall. That was the thing. You got to go to the Kingdom Hall, find the baddest one. You had to go to the assemblies, find the baddest one. You had to walk around the assembly all day, try to find the baddest one, and then figure out which line she was going to be eating at, where she was going to be getting her hoagie from. You know, figure out if she was going to be cleaning up after. You know, you had to find, you had to make sure you found her hoagie line. Like, hold up, she's getting a hoagie over there. Let's go over there so I can maybe holler at her while she's getting her hoagie. Junk Food Vegan said that's stereotyping your attire just because you had your own style. Well, I've always, I agree. I've always had my own way of doing things. But anyway, that is neither here nor is it there. So yeah, after James Cobbs, gave his speech saying, we can't let him go around just disparaging Keith like that. We've known Keith his entire life. He's always been an upstanding brother. He's never been in any type of trouble with the congregation. We cannot have this man talking badly about Keith. Who is he anyway? I don't even know who he is. That's what James said. I don't even know who this man is. So Carlin Harris proceeds to tell him who this person was. His name is James Wright. He's a brother at one of the other congregations, yada yada yada. Now, unbeknownst to I don't want to speak ill of him because he has passed away, but he was not the most upstanding person at that time. And I mean, no one is perfect, but he was not in good standing with his congregation at all. But they took his word over mine, right? And so in the midst of asking all these other questions, Colin asked me, well, are you going to get married? And I'm literally, at this point, I think I was 16-ish, maybe going on 17. Like, are y'all going to get married? And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, I know I'm only 16 years old. Why the hell are you asking me this? Right? Well, are you going to get married? I said, well, maybe one day. And he said, well, are you working? Again, I am 16 years old. And he's asking me these questions like we're getting married Thursday. So I said, yeah, but it's not, I'm not trying to get married to her now. I said, I'm just, I'm just seeing her. I enjoy talking to her. We have a good time. You know how you say stuff like that when you're at the Kingdom Hall, even though you're only 16, and no 16-year-old uses the word enjoy without, you do. Let's see what Willow B says. Willow B says the problem is it makes you feel obligated to marry because you have to date with marriage in view. So the atmosphere in the org makes young ones feel like the first person they date, they have to marry. Agreed. Agreed 100%. So at this point, I'm telling him, yes, I'm only 16. Yes, I do have a job, but it's not a support an entire family job. I think at that time, I worked at the movie theater. So I was either selling or sweeping popcorn. Wasn't anything that I could support a family on. I was just doing that to buy my clothes so that I could look spiffy every day. My money when I worked at the theater was literally so I could buy my own clothes because my parents didn't want to buy my clothes for me because my taste was too expensive. So I said, you know what? I'll get a job and buy my own shit. Don't worry about it, mom and dad. Y'all can spend your money on y'all shit. I'll buy my own shit because y'all motherfuckers y'all taste is bad, right? So, so after I told him I was only 16 and I had no intentions of getting married Thursday, he replied, well, this can't continue. We're going to have a meeting and talk about, where you stand and where we all stand with this, because we can't really have, we can't have this go on the way it is. We have somebody making making a complaint against this. So, we're not going to be able to continue with these questions. Now, this is the brother that was asking me my questions. This is his son talking to his father like he was a scrub. It's like, I know you brought me in this world. I know you're older than me. I know you're my elder, but you not finna do this. We stopping this shit. And Keith is not about to be no Jehovah's Witness today. So I'm literally sitting there. I'm 16 years old. I'm a teenager. I'm looking forward to getting baptized. I'm thinking I'm going to be, a Jehovah's Witness Thursday. So all this stuff is happening. All these accusations are being thrown around. And I'm literally like breaking down. I'm in tears. There's nobody on my side except Brother Cobbs. But Brother Cobbs can't even stop them. Carlin Harris is still shooting all these accusations at me, right? You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. So by this time, I spent all this time studying these questions and trying to do the right thing. And this does play into what we're talking about tonight. But at that point, I'm breaking down. I'm all sad and junk. So I had to walk back home because I actually walked to the Kingdom Hall to have this meeting. So I had to walk back home. I get to the house and my mother, is there. And I walk in. I'm kind of sad. My face is all swollen. I've been crying and junk. And I walk in. She's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "I just got some bad news." She's like, "Well, I don't want to hear about it." I'm like, "Well, fuck you too, right?" Whatever. That's the kind of shit my mom always do. So I didn't say anything. I kind of just suffered in silence for a little bit. And I told my girlfriend what happened. This is what happened because of your goddamn daddy. This is what happened. This is what your daddy did, right? Your daddy did this. And that all happened because one day when I went to see her mom was a little bit of a spiteful little thing too. And she would do a bunch of shit to kind of rub, to kind of pour salt in wounds and just to start shit, because her mom really did like to argue and start shit. So one day I went to see her at her house, right? And another story. Here we go. But it all has to do with what we're talking about tonight. So me and my ex-wife and her mom, my girlfriend at the time, just sitting around talking, just shooting the shit, whatever. And somehow marriage came up, right? And so she was like, well, do you think y'all guys want to get married one day? And I said, yeah, maybe one day, one day down the line, maybe we will get married. I don't know, right? So her mom, because I said that, her mom goes and runs to her father right then, runs to find her father. Now, her father was a bit of a hothead, right? So she runs to his father right then and says, Keith and Angie want to get married. And I'm thinking, that ain't what I said. What are you talking about? That's not what I said. So he comes back out and he's like, what's this about y'all getting married? And I said, that's not what I said. I said, maybe one day, we would like to get married. Yeah. But, and he was like, you are a joke. And I was like, huh? And he said, you are a joke. He was pissed. He shoots out of the house, right? I'm like, and I'm looking at her mom and I'm thinking, why did you do that? That's not what I said, right? So that was why he went to the elders and told the elders that he didn't like me. And from that day forward, for a long time, I couldn't go to her house to see her. If I did, I had to wait because there was one time he thought I was there and I was actually outside. And they didn't want him to see me because they thought he was going to shoot me if he saw me. So they hid me and put me outside around the back and waited for him to leave. And then when he left, they were like, okay, you can come back out now. This is all the shit that I went through to try to marry this woman, just to be with this woman, right? And so after I had that meeting, at that point, I was done trying to be a good little Jehovah's Witness. I was like, well, we might as well have sex now because we might as well go and have sex now. So then we went ahead and had sex shortly after that. But again, 18 years old is too young to get married. I was 18, she was 20. Because of her upbringing, I think she was much more suited to be married than I was. She had spent a whole lot more time. What's going on, Gypsy Lily? Learning how to take care of a home. And I didn't really have a lot of knowledge about how to take care of a home. And this is another thing that goes into the marriage culture, because it does. Yeah, a lot of witnesses have. Dominican Trucker says, how could he have a gun? Wasn't he a witness? Yeah, but I mean, you can go hunting and nothing, no law against hunting or having a gun to kill animals and shit with. Ray says, I heard a lady say she's going to wait for the new system to marry her perfect husband. I'm like, what the hell? I'm saying to myself, girl, I know you horny. Yeah, she probably was. I don't even know if they're going to be able to have sex in the new system. I mean, if it was real, I don't know how the new system works. I just don't even want to think about it. It just makes no sense. Will they even get horny in the new system? What's up, GU8 Guac Girl? Yeah, that's a very true statement, Guac Girl. JW women are groomed for marriage since childhood. That is very true. That is very, very true. Very true. That's a very, very valid point. And so after, even after we got married, at one point she wanted to go and talk to the elders and tell them what we did, that we had sex before we got married. And I didn't really want to do that. I was like, why? It's too late now. I already had the pussy at this point. What's the point? Telling nobody. We married. They know we having sex now. If they don't know, and now you know. But anyway, but we did it because I just did it because she wanted to or whatever. That was fine or whatever. But it surprises me now looking back at my time as a Jehovah's Witness. When I look back at it, I remember how much we used to talk about getting married. Even at 12 and 13 years old, we were talking about, do you want to marry that person? Do you want to marry her? Do you want to? I had this big crush on this, a big crush on this girl named Angela. Not Angela. Anyway, and I remember me and my best friend were talking about her, and I was like, man, I really want to marry her. I really want to marry her, right? And at a young age, all we would talk about is getting married. KB says, a circuit overseer I know told a story of a sister had a gun and her husband had disappeared. He asked when was the last time she saw him. She said he was running when she saw him last. The CEO asked why he was running. She said, because I was shooting at him. That's funny. JW suicides. Even in the 80s, as a teenager, I knew this policy was book. I didn't know witnesses carried guns until a few years ago, to be honest. Yeah. I know a lot of witnesses that had guns. Gypsy Lee says, I won't be active. Okay, we got you, Gypsy. Go ahead and listen. Get your listen on drive. Nikki T says, you have to be baptized to make it to the new system. Right. That's true. Okay. So, yeah. So we knew about all the people who were getting married. We were still teenagers, but we knew that people were getting married just so they could have sex. We all knew that. We were like, okay, we know they're getting married so they can have sex. We know they're getting married so they can have sex. JW Suicide says, we were taught a job that needed us to be involved in handguns was wrong. Okay. But the whole thing with people getting married hella young, the first thing everybody said was they're getting married for sex. They're getting married for sex. And of course you would be getting married for sex because, I mean, hell, people are people. People want to have sex. I understand, especially when you're young. But if you can't date, if you can't even have a girlfriend, if you can't go out on a date and just take somebody out without having to have the pressure of being married looming over you at all times, you're not going to be able to really explore who you are as a person, which leads to the next part of this whole issue is getting married so young causes you to not know who you are as a person when you're actually getting married to these people, right? You don't know who you are, firstly, and you will never, it's rare that you're actually going to be able to become the person you're supposed to become because you don't have the opportunity to grow outside of being with someone else, which alters the trajectory of your development greatly, right? So let's take a quick little break and then we're going to talk about that. If anybody wants to email me, you can email me at kfitsmylife@hotmail.com. Right? Some of the videos that I have as I start to clear out my channel are going to the Patreon page. So there are some videos that are no longer on the channel. They're on Patreon only. So if you would like to join Patreon and become a patron, that is patreon.com/kfitsmylife. Right? So you can hit me up there. Don't forget, guys, I am really going to push this young lady's massage business because the way she explained it today, I'm telling you, this thing is it has to be a phenomenal experience. So if you want to have a really good self-help massage session, contact our self-care boss who is here in the chat tonight, Miss Elmira. Her address for her office is 1439 Northwest Broad Street, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Her website is www.couturemassage.com. The phone number is 615-746-7606. And she also has an ebook called Becoming a Self-Care Boss, 31 Days to Self-Discovery. She has another book as well. They are both on www.couturemassage.com/shop. And let her help. I think her goal is to help entertainers and entrepreneurs to become self-care bosses. Sorry about that. So hit her up. This woman is doing some good work to try to help people get better about taking care of themselves. Yeah. She says, yes, you won't leave the same as you came, body and spirit uplifted, a sensual and stress relieving experience. So help this. That's what I'm talking about. So help yourself. Help yourself with a good little session, right? All right, guys. So one of the huge issues, and if anyone wants to call in, the lines are open. The phone number is 615-270-2094. So feel free to call in at any time, and we will get you on the show and hear what you have to say. All right. So another thing that happens because of this young marriage culture in the Watchtower is divorce, right? Let's see. AJ Clayton says, I find it hard to believe that the ones that didn't get married young waited. Dude I used to know recently got married, and he's in his 30s. I doubt he was a virgin. I doubt he was a virgin too. He just didn't tell nobody that he'd been getting some. Dominican Trucker says, I only dated one baptized JW and 3 students. All these dates were in secret, and the baptized one was about 35 and I was 16. Damn, Dominican Truckers. The hell you doing with a 35-year-old at 16? No, bro. Now you can't put something like that in the chat and then don't tell us about it. You got to call in and tell us about that. The baptized one was about 35 and you were 16. It ain't no way that you didn't have sex with that woman because she wanted to teach you something. She said, I'm gonna teach this 16-year-old something. Now, I mean, obviously that is statutory rape, so I'm not gonna applaud that. Willow B says, as long as you are a servant or elder, you comment at the meetings and go in service, you are marriage material. The job and emotional well-being of the couple is secondary. All right. Self-care boss says, yeah, he need to call in. JJ Jr. said Trucker was getting paid. Guac Girl said maybe in Dominican it's normal. Maybe so, but I'm sure every 16-year-old boy dreams about having sex with a certain 30-something-year-old woman. But when that is reversed and it's a man and a girl, it's horrible. It's horrible both ways, honestly, because it can damage people. That's not good. Dominican Trucker says, damn, again, no sex. It was weird. All right, no sex. Well, we don't want to hear about it if it wasn't no sex then. So, I'm just kidding. But the thing is, guys, really, getting married that young, I really think it stunts growth in people. It really, really stunts our growth. It makes it difficult and I think also that it makes it difficult for us moving forward in life. If you guys don't stay together, say you get divorced, it's gonna make it hard for you going forward in life to learn to take things slowly. And I think that's something that happened to me once we split up and I moved out. It was my intention to just really spend time by myself and not worry about getting into a relationship. I wanted to just be by myself and spend a lot of time alone because I had been married, since I was 18. I had been with her since I was like 15. And we separated probably 13 years after that, right? So, we had gone through the whole process. We had signed all these papers, divorce papers, and I had moved away. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm starting my life all the way over again. And I just wanted to have some time to do whatever I wanted to do. And I was getting it in. I'm not going to lie. I was getting it in. But the first person that came along that I've had some type of connection with, we ended up being in a 10-year relationship. And it was because I theorized that getting married so young and being programmed to always have a relationship end goal with whoever you talk to makes it difficult for a lot of people to just date with the intent of just dating to getting to know somebody or having a good time. It makes it difficult. And I have to catch myself even today, at my age today, to stop always thinking long-term relationship thinking. Whenever I talk to somebody, if I just go and meet somebody or have lunch or something like that, I have to think, okay, I'm just meeting somebody. It doesn't mean this is my next wife, right? And it's the thinking or the way that they teach us to think. I know for me, it didn't just go away overnight. It took time for that way of thinking to actually go away from my brain. And again, like I said, it still doesn't always go away. But I ended up being in a situation where in my heart at the time, I wasn't really ready to enter into a relationship, but I didn't know how to not be, let me word this the right way. I didn't know how to say, I just want to be alone and have fun, because it sounded like a bad thing to say something like that, right? It sounded like that would be a bad thing to say, even though it was the truth. Now I'm not going to sit and say that I didn't, enjoy my ex when we first got together. She was, it was a great relationship for a long time. But if looking back at it, I still remember saying I wasn't really ready to go into a relationship. So I think that is something that we have to, or I don't want to say we, I know personally, it's something that I have to watch, because that programming, that way of thinking is in there. And a lot of those things that we were taught, they're still in there. They don't just go away. So that whole, okay, you just can't date somebody just to go out on a date and have a good time. It has to go somewhere. It has to be a purpose. Junk Food Vegan says you can never get remarried unless it was based on adultery in that organization. You can never get remarried. No, you said it right the first time. You worded it right the first time. You can never get remarried unless it was based on adultery in that organization. Yeah, it's true. That's true. That is true. KB says, I don't think a lot of men know how to say this is just for fun. That takes a lot of maturity to be that honest. And even if a guy is that honest with a woman, she tends to not believe him. That is true. But a lot of this is gonna go off into a whole nother conversation. But a lot of women don't take that very well. It's my experience. Women have a better time saying that than they do hearing that, in my experience. Women like to be able to say, this is just for fun. But then when a man says, this is just for fun, a lot of times women take that as, in my experience, they take that as, I don't want to do that because it makes me feel like a slut. But for some reason, in my experience, when women say, this is just for fun, it doesn't seem to make them feel that way. So a lot of times men feel like they can't be that honest because they're not going to take it well. Like, women don't take rejection very well, in my experience. So, yeah. All right, I think we have a call. Saving my ass. Thank you. All right, let's see who we have here. What's going on? You're on with K Fitz. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, how you doing? This is Dominican Truckers.
What's up, Dominican? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
What's going on? What's on your mind, bro?
You want me to tell you the story about the unbaptized witness?
Yeah, man. What happened? Lay it on us.
All right. So when I was, I'm not sure if I got baptized between 15 and 16. I believe it was 15. And that's when I decided that I really wanted to be a witness.
Mm-hmm.
So at the same time, I tried to start learning English. So I memorized the whole book. It was a small book, but it was a basic. So a witness from the United States moved to Dominican Republic. You know how some witnesses move over there, work for a few months here. And money there lasts for, longer than usual, than what it lasts in the United States. So they move over there. It was her and a friend. And I was like, this is my chance for me to learn English. So I was already a auxiliary pioneer, moving up to be a regular pioneer. And of course, she went, where there's, how do you call that, where the neither is great,
right?
Where the need is greater, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you move over there.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a deal with her, and I was like, you speak English to me, and you can speak Spanish to anybody else. That way I can learn. So we got to hang, together all the time. We were preaching together all the time, it was a lot. Like, she lived in the same street. I mean, she moved on the same street. So we became really good friends. And one day she was like, if you were older, I would marry you. That's how I realized. And the thing is, in Dominican Republic, we use motorcycles. It's like a moped. So I was the driver of her motorcycle all the time. She bought a small moped, and I was the driver. And when we went on service, sometimes if it was in a group, we went together, but sometimes we did go together to Bible studies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we spent a lot of time together, and then I helped her out with a lot of stuff. I mean, I was a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I realized when she said that she liked me, and I kind of like her too. So I'm like, But we knew we couldn't, just go out. It wasn't. But I just fell in love with her. I was writing her letters and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Eventually, my mom found the letter, and people found out that, that we were having a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing really happened. I was completely ignorant. Like I told you before, when I was 18, I didn't even know what a hickey was. So
right.
It was like a each other under the table, but nothing really happened. I mean, it was innocent in a way. But I was like writing her letters, love letters, and how we're gonna be together in paradise. We're gonna make this work.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing, I really believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the elders called her in because nobody really talked to me ever. So after a while, she came back to the United States for a few months. And I remember she told me, "What do you want me to bring you back when I get back?" I'm like, I want Nikes. I want some Nikes. And then she sent me a letter from the United States. And in the letter, she was like, "You're in my way. Get out of my way." Like I only remember that part that she said, "Get out of my way." So after that, she came back, and I didn't talk to her. I completely ignored her. Like she basically didn't want to talk to me. And then she felt sad about it, and she called me to the house, and she's like, "Here's your Snickers." And I grabbed him and left. And I did the same thing she told me she did to her ex husband before. Something about it. She went to his house one time, and he was supposed to give her some money, so she grabbed the money and shut the door. Like she just basically just grabbed what she needed and left. So I basically did the same thing to her. And after a while, she moved to another town in the Dominican Republic. I never really heard from her again. Then I heard one time my mom said she was dating another boy. I guess a young boy too, in another town. I don't know if it's true. Sometimes they lie about when they don't like somebody. I feel like the Jehovah's Witnesses lie. Either they say they're crazy or I think we spent too much time together. That's what happened.
Okay.
That's how that developed. I don't feel like she took advantage of me at all. To be honest, like I know I was 16 and naive, but I believe it's because we spent too much time together.
Interesting. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
And y'all she didn't give you no hickeys or anything, huh?
No. This was more innocent. Just holding hands and hugging each other and whatever, and riding scooter together. Like, but nothing really happened. It was a more innocent thing.
You was feeling on her booty though, weren't you?
I'm sorry?
You was feeling on her booty though.
Yeah. That's about it. That's about it. Yeah, that's about it.
So you had this 35-year-old woman that was letting you feel on her booty, and you wasn't trying to hit.
I thought about it, but I didn't. I don't know. It would sound weird because I was a virgin until I was like 18 years old.
Okay.
So, I wanted to. I wanted to since I was 12.
She wasn't kissing you and stuff though?
No, not really. We didn't really kiss that much. Like I said in the text, it was like a weird, we talk about being married in paradise. That's all we talk about. It was like we trying to do the right thing. But
so you was feeling on her booty. You was kissing sometimes. I know you was. What did you get to squeeze her titties or anything? What did you do? What did you do?
No, I didn't do much, man.
So you tell me y'all was sitting around reading the Wake magazines together and shit? Y'all was studying? Y'all wasn't studying.
Yeah, we didn't, I could brag about it. I'd be like, yeah, I hate what I did. I wish I did. In a way, I wish I did, but probably if I go back, I smack myself, But, like, come on, man, wake up, do something.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah,
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I'm like, yeah, I do it. No, it was like a love thing, writing letters and talk, spending a lot of time together. That was it.
Oh, that's sweet. She just had somebody else that she was having sex with, and you was her little boy toy, but she was having sex with somebody else.
Who knows? Yeah, she was another woman. So who knows?
Yeah. All right, Dominican. Well, thanks for calling in, bro. You are always a pleasure to listen to.
All right, man.
All right, bro.
All right.
Bye.
All right, have a good night. Thanks for taking my call.
Anytime, brother.
Thank you.
Oh man, that was funny. I always like when he calls in. He is hilarious to me. But yeah, I can remember being 16 and there was some sisters in there. And I was like, man, I sure would like some of sister such and such. Miss Belly said, "I'm not wrong. I was just messing with him. Come on now. I'm trying to think of a sister. Let me think of a sister that I was trying to get with. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, I'm not gonna say her name either because she might still be out there somewhere. But boy, I had to get country on that one. Boy, I remember this sister's booty was so big that she was taller sitting down than she was standing up. And I swore somehow I was gonna get some of that sister. Jumanji says, haha, I'm thinking the same thing. He was a show of the crown while she was getting it from someone else. Exactly. Exactly. That's how the game is played, Jumanji. You know the game too, brother. It's always one that's the shoulder the crown, and the other one is the shoulder to put your legs on. Oh shoot. That's hilarious. It's hilarious. That is hilarious. But yeah, boy, I wanted some of that sister so bad. And see, back then, that's back when sometimes ladies would have like those sheer stockings. With she was anyway. Let me shut up for this sister be in here. This woman be on my stream like, oh, you want something? You want some of me? You should have said something. God. Fitz, you a hypocrite. You lusted after Jehovah's fine sisters. Hey, I'm just being real. I'm just being real. Marriage, Willow B says, marriage is a union of God, but just because a couple gets married doesn't mean God put them together. You must be with a person that you may be with a person that you have no business being with, but you're forced to stay together. Miss Bailey says, I think she listening probably on IG. Man, anyway. All I'm gonna say is she was short and light skinned, and her booty was so big. God, I couldn't. And well, I'm saying too much. But one of my friends got it, and I was like, "Ooh, you did." And then they ended up going together, and I was like, "Oh man, that mean I had a chance because we was around the same man. He was a little bit older than me though, just a little bit older than me." I was like, oh man, dang. Miss Bailey too says our lives changed so much since we last talked. I might get married soon, but it's a crazy story. Oh wow. I am not gonna be getting married anytime soon. I am gonna be making up for the time that I got married too young. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. Um It's just that I realized that it's just it's time for me to really. JJ Jr. says, "Will you go in the retirement home and fantasize over elderly women now?" Boy, stop. Boy, no. Boy, no. Boy, no. Let's see here, guys. Somebody said the sound changed right after I started talking about booties. Was that something I wasn't supposed to talk about? I wasn't supposed to talk about booties. Everything seems to be the same. Try to refresh your pages, guys. Try to refresh your pages and see if that works. Okay? Try to refresh your pages. try to refresh your pages and see if that helps. But yeah, I think that seeing so many people that I knew get married at such a young age. Yeah, guys, if you're having problems with the sound, please try to just refresh your page. I think that's an issue with you guys because the sound hasn't changed at all. So try to refresh your page for me. KB, you can't be joking like that. People think they sound is going crazy. That's funny. Oh, okay. Well, see, you busting my chops and people thinking they sound is going jacked up. See, you giving people subliminal messages over here. I'm trying to talk about big booties and you talking about sound messing up. Okay. So yeah, it has taken a long time for me to get, and I mean I'm 44. So if I'm honest, yeah, I do want to find somebody to have a good relationship with, a healthy relationship, because getting married so young, I don't know if Jumanji said they listen on that old Section 8 wireless. That's funny. Miss Betty 2 says, don't feel like calling. There was cover-ups involving marriage situations and babies. All right, well, you don't get arrested trying to call into my show. I don't want that. I don't want that on my spirit. Get arrested calling in. But getting married so young, I don't know if we were supposed to get married or not. I do know that I was not the best husband, and I won't blame it all on getting married at 18, but that is a huge factor. If you try to deny the fact that sometimes people getting married at that age is not conducive to knowing how to have a good marriage, you would be lying. The truth is, at 18, I didn't know how to do anything, much less take care of a family, because I got married at 18. She got pregnant at 19. Alexis came along when I was 20, so I didn't really know how to do anything. And the organization doesn't really give you, or didn't at that time, parenting skills and life skills and things like that. So it wasn't as if I knew how to actually conduct myself in a marriage situation. While my ex-wife probably would have made a really good wife for someone who was ready, I was not. And had I not grown up in that culture of needing to get married so young, I would have known myself a lot better, and I would have gotten more into the thing that I want to do with my life. And conversely, I would have not stopped her from getting married to the wrong person that wasn't ready to be married. When you're 18 and 20 years old, you see what you want to see. And I wasn't the best person. I really wasn't ready. And she was in love with me, so she saw what she wanted to see. I was way more not ready than she was. Miss Belly 2 says, you are too funny. Just some elder daughters who were apparently pregnant when they got married, never got in trouble, and had Kingdom Hall weddings. Yeah, that wasn't me. I was not trying to get anybody pregnant at all. Did not want that. So the young marriage culture, I think it spawns marriages to some marriages. Of course, I'm sure they go quite well. Exclusive says, no, we were just taught to be submissive to your husband, have babies, and keep knocking on those doors. Well, yeah. Yeah, that's true. But, if you're in a situation where somebody is giving you everything you need as a person, you don't have to, I don't think you have to be forced into taught into being submissive and things like that. I think it comes naturally when you're with somebody that is treating you the way that you need to be treated and is doing the things that a husband should naturally do. A.K. Perez says, so few brothers in the congregation and so many sisters that were competing for them. Some brothers will refer to the sisters as candy and say it was like being a kid in a candy store. Really? Miss Bailey 2 says, everyone who married as teenagers was divorced by age 30. Yeah, that is true. Most of the ones I know that got married young got divorced. I mean, including me. Guac Girl, I was born in an elder's daughter. We are groomed to want marriage ASAP, of course. Junk Food Vegan says to Miss Bailey and knee deep in divorce debt. Exclusive says it was just the example that was set by the elders that I grew up around. Miss Bailey 2 says, I know people younger than me and have been married twice, all under age 30. That is some bullshit. God, if I were to get married again, that woman would have to be freaking exceptional. I mean, she would have to, man. Anyway, I can't even list all the damn things that'll be necessary for me to marry a woman again. Cause divorce takes a lot of work, man. That shit is hard. I don't want to get married just because I don't want to go through divorcing again. KB says, I know about 8 marriages of ones who got married early 20s. They were all divorced by 30. Dang, bruh. Yeah. And just, it's you're not really taught to learn people in the right way, because being in the organization, you don't learn people the right way. Like, you learn when you're learning somebody that's in an organization that teaches them how to behave in a way that is not natural to them, because I think we can all agree that most people in the organization are not their true selves. They are the selves that they have been programmed to be. So you're used to just getting to know or getting closer to somebody who's been programmed to think just like you. Right? It's very rare that you're going to have a conversation or get to know someone in that organization where you're getting to know the real them. It's very difficult, So once I left and I started seeing people outside of the organization, it was really weird, because it was it was like a snake out of a can. I was just like bouncing all over the place, but I didn't really know how to really get to know women. I didn't understand how that actually worked, because they were so different than the women that were in the organization. I knew how to have sex with a bunch of women, but getting to know women, it was foreign. So it was easy for me to be, not taken advantage of. I don't know if that's the right wording, but it was easy for me to think I was getting something that I really wasn't, because I didn't understand how women really were. And I'm not disparaging women. I'm just saying, because since that's what I date, and I've never and I had never dated outside of the organization, being around women who weren't Jehovah's Witnesses, you have to learn how women, actually are. The women who are in the organization aren't like the women who are not in the organization. It's a completely different world. So it took some time to get used to that. And even today, there are still times. Hold on, let's see. MKT says, I lived with my wife for a year before we married. All right. Yeah. KB says, I wasn't allowed to get to know them in a realistic way. MKT says, I'm happy I got married outside of the org. Right. Exclusive says, and how do you get to really know someone when you always have to have a chaperone on your dates? That's true. Jumanji says, the same witness know how to put it up a better act. Yeah. So yeah, it's the whole marriage culture is something that you take with you once you leave. And it's taken a long time for me to get to a point where, after the first 20 something years of my life, being, leaving my parents and going right into a marriage, and then knowing that wasn't really the right thing for me. So then after I left, I was maybe alone for maybe 2 or 3 years, and then ended up in a 10-year relationship. Being 44, since I was 18, I've only been single for 3 years. So this is going to be, I don't know how long I'll be, single. But however long it is, it's going to be a very new experience. And it's really difficult coming out of that young marriage culture, and then now being 44, and MKT says, do you date and have the mindset of marrying the person you're dating? Yeah, I talked about that earlier, MKT. It's not necessarily that you have that I have the mindset of marrying the person. It's just that naturally, it usually in my mind, I think of, where is this going? It's going to go toward a relationship. My mindset is always programmed into, like, is it going to be a relationship? Like, why are you even dating them if it's not going to be a relationship, right? Dominican says, my first marriage was at 24. I left the board when I was 18, but I ended up marrying a girl I met at the Kingdom Hall who came to the hall with her aunt, who was a student for years. Really? So now I try to not even really, if I'm going to, Great Dane, AK Fish, you need to step up to that lady buffet and get yourself a taste of all that's available. Ha. You know what? It's not really a lot available out there. Dating sucks. I hate dating. I'm not gonna lie. I fucking hate it. Miss Bad 2 says, well, Keith, at least you had long-term relationships, marriage, and dating experience. Yeah, but I don't want to get all into that. I'm gonna start getting all sad and shit. Um, um, yeah, I don't really. I'm not really a fan of dating. I'm not really a fan of dating. Um, and I think it just may be because of the mindset that was programmed, for so long. I don't I don't really enjoy dating that much. Um, and it also just may be because I don't really like a lot of the options that I've seen out there. Um, a lot of the women, and I'm not trying to sound arrogant or haughty, but I have very high standards. I have high standards because I expect a lot. I hold myself to a very high standard. I don't put out bullshit, and I carry myself in a way that I expect greatness. All of my dudes I hang out with, my boys, they're all successful people. We're all good dudes. So I'm not going to tolerate a woman coming into my life that's going to be less than that. And so it's very difficult for me to see and meet women who I think are up to the same standard that I hold myself to. Now, if I start to see more women like that, I will gladly go out and date them. But it's not there. There just aren't very many people that I see that meet my standard. Guac Girl says it's not easy to date for anyone the older you get. Agreed. Jumanji says you not arrogant, speak the truth. Some of these women ain't shit. So true. Junk Food Vegan says, where do you meet women? I don't really go out with the intention of meeting women though. Most of the time I'm by myself, or me and my guys will go hang out, and we might go to a hookah bar or something like that. But we have like regular places that me and my boys go. It's like our hangout spot. So I very rarely even go out with the intention of I'm gonna go meet somebody tonight. I never really do that. Nikki T, yes, agreed 100%. I can't tell you how many times, because my boys think I'm too hard on women. They do. They say all the time, Keith, you too hard on women. You gotta lighten up. You're gonna be by yourself. I'm like, I will be by myself. And what Nikki T said, one woman that I actually dated, or not tried to date, I actually talked to. I went to pick her up, and she invited me to her place, and her place was messy. And so when I went back to talk to my dudes about it, I said, yeah, I'm not gonna talk to her no more. And they said, why? I said, because her house was messy. And they was like, dude. I said, no, dude. I'm telling you, if a woman's house is messy, if a woman's house is consistently messy all the time, that means that she's probably not that clean either. If a woman's house is messy all the time, that means her ass probably stink. So, yeah. And as you guys can see, my house is always clean. My place is always clean. I literally clean my house every day. I do not leave my house until everything is straight. So I've not seen too many women that you and the car. If somebody's car is messy, I'm like, yeah, I'm not down. Great Dan says, if you keep going to the same places, you're never going to meet new women. And that's probably true, but right now I don't even know if I'm really if I'm honest, yeah, I do want a relationship one day, but I don't know if I'm ready yet. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. There are days that it's still difficult. Like when I had to go back to court and finish the divorce again, um, that was difficult because it was a reminder, regardless. And I don't speak to my ex-wife at all after what she did. I don't like to speak to her at all. And I told her I will never speak to you again unless it's about our daughter. Other than that, I will never speak to you. But having to go back to court and finish this whole thing and finally get it done again was just a reminder. This is why I even thought of this topic. It was a reminder of everything that I had gone through as, an aspiring Jehovah's Witness, getting married so young, being with someone for all that time from 18 to 32. Then even after us not being together anymore, still having the bond of my daughter and still trying to do everything to help my daughter be as healthy and happy as she could be, considering the circumstances of her parents divorcing and not being together. It was a reminder because people kept saying things like, "Oh, congratulations, your divorce went through," and it was never anything that I celebrated. The first time when I thought we were, completely divorced, I wasn't happy about it. And I think I'm even less happy about it this time because as time has passed, it has made me reflect on things a lot more. The older you get, the more memories you have to reflect on. And going to court and seeing her, I couldn't help but think about the way I literally, for a moment, even though I have this intense dislike for her now, I couldn't help after I left the hearing. I got in my car and I kind of broke down because it was this moment where all this history in my life was just gone. It was and it happened twice because when me and my ex-girlfriend broke up, the only way I could get past it was to erase everything that happened. The pictures, the memories, the cards, everything that I had gotten from her over the last 10 years is gone. It's like it never happened. And then I saw my ex-wife in court, and I couldn't speak to her because I have such a dislike for her. And then the only time she tried to speak to me was to try to start a debate about something, and I had to ignore her because I didn't want to debate. I didn't want it to be that. So I had to ignore her and tell her I'm not here to debate with you and leave it at that. So when we left, it was another instance of the only way I'm going to get past this is to delete everything. And so, my ex-girlfriend, that was deleting everything from 34 to 33. With my ex-wife, that was deleting everything from 16 to 32. So it was a reminder of another failure. And it really bothered me because I know that's how several people who are in the organization that got married young that we all have to go through that. You get married so young and you use so much of your time and so much of your life, and you give so much of yourself for who you think yourself is at that point, and you sacrifice all of that, and you never learn who you are. You never get the opportunity to really go into life and figure out what you want out of life. It is harder, Nikki T, when you have kids, you know? And I can't go and talk to my daughter about any of that stuff, you know, and I'm not going to. You know, when I talk to my daughter about her mom, I only wish her mom the best. And deep down, I really do. But I will never say anything negative about her. Well, for MKT says, burn your pockets. I spent at least $1,700 in legal fees. Well, I did my divorce myself, so I didn't have to spend any money on legal fees. Dominican says, once I got married, I tried everything not to get divorced. We separated first, and I was so depressed that I stayed in the Dominican Republic for 3 months doing nothing. That junk is not easy, man. It's not easy. Dominican says, I have that JW mentality that marriage is forever. Maybe I still do. Nikki T says, the court system ain't worth a damn. Great Dane says, preach, Brother Fitz. I can only talk from my experience, man. And, you know, that's why I sincerely believe I'll never get married again, because I don't know if I can devote that much of myself to anyone again. You know, I did it twice. You know, being 16 and starting a 13-year relationship, and then being 34 and starting a 10-year relationship, they're at such different parts of life. I think, as weird as this may sound, the relationship I had with my ex-girlfriend hurt me a lot more than the one with my ex-wife. And I think it was because, being a child getting married, you don't know who you are yet. And I didn't have as much loss in my life at that time. So it wasn't that it was easy to get over it, because it wasn't. It was just different, because once I got older and I started losing things, it was so much more difficult for me to get past the second one. And I don't think I've ever been that depressed, man. I mean, even when me and my ex-wife, we had separated so many times before we finally got divorced, that I had, you know, I kind of had a tolerance built up. But the first time, Alexis was a baby and she would cry all the time. And we separated so many times. So by the last time, it was almost like, all right, it's just time to end this, because it's not gonna work. But in my last relationship, it started out as something that was so, you know, so beautiful, that by the time it ended, it was the most difficult part of my life. It was literally I would say the second most, because when me and my ex-wife split up, the thing that really hurt me too was that I didn't get to see my daughter as much. And I remember the first text that she sent me after we split up, and I kept it on my phone for the entire time I had that phone, until it literally just broke and I didn't have it anymore. Great Dane says, You gave more of your real self to your girlfriend, so it hurts more. Exactly. Willow B says, "Is your ex-wife still a witness?" Yes, she is. Nikki T says, "My husband told me he's human too, and that hit me hard." Reality check: women have it rough in the organization when it comes to relationship, but it's good to hear the male side of that. I think people think that men have it, so good in the organization. But the same way that women are groomed to do certain things, the men are groomed too. And we're groomed, for the most part, to really not be men. It's almost like we are groomed to be male servants in the organization, and women are groomed to be female servants in the organization. So while the roles are different, the effect is still the same, because men who leave the organization and go out into the world have problems just like women who leave the organization and go out to the real world. I would even wager that it's probably more difficult for men that when they go out and leave the organization, because men don't have any sympathy for men. The world doesn't have hardly any sympathy for men at all. So you come out of the organization, this, like I've said before, this toothless lion in a world full of lions with teeth. No one's going to have any sympathy on you, man. You know what I mean? No one's going to help. There's not very many organizations that help dudes in comparison to the organization that can help females. And I'm not comparing the two. I'm just stating a fact. There are far more, males who are, all the a lot of the bad shit that happens statistically, it happens to dudes a whole lot more. Like there's like way more homeless men. There's men die faster. Men commit suicide more. Like almost all the bad shit happens to dude. So we have feelings too, and I think that a lot of times people forget that, because men we're expected to have this veneer of nothing ever bothering us, because we're afraid that if we show that something actually bothers us, which happens a lot even with me, once you show some type of weakness as a man, people are like sharks with blood in the water, and they just jump on it. And you, as a man, you have to suppress your feelings so much just to be able to function. That's why a lot of dudes snap and have all these mental issues too, because it's not as acceptable. Even though it should be, it's just not as generally acceptable for men to show their emotions. And once men do that, not even just men, women look at men like you're weak. I mean, just look up earlier in the chat. Some of the women in the chat said, I didn't like these dudes because they were nerdy and geeky and things like that. Let's just say that's how they really are, because there's dudes who are not in the organization that are like that. That's viewed as weak. So me being another type of man, I see how women treat a man that is looked at like that. That makes me want to be as far from that type of dude as humanly possible. And it makes other men want to be as far from that dude as humanly possible, because we know that the women are going to look at us like nerdy and geeky and boring. So we have to put up this veneer of I'm not that way, just so we can function in the world and get some type of respect, not just from men, but from women as well. Women don't understand, and I'm not undermining women's struggle in the organization and leaving the organization. I'm just saying that it is very difficult for men too, and I think women forget that, because men have gotten so good at putting up this front that women forget that men have feelings too. And at the end of the day, when there's no one there, especially I know for guys that live by, like me, that live by yourselves, man, it is difficult, man, because eventually you have to take that armor off. You gotta one of the guys I watch on here has a great channel, the Knights Templar, I think is his name. The Thinking Man's Templar. Great channel. But you have to get to a point where you can take that armor off, man, because carrying that wall around is draining. It's draining on a man, dude. And it's hard to just get to a point where you say, okay, this woman respects me. Can I be honest with her now? Can I show her that I have some type of emotion, that I'm not this wall of no emotion? Like, can I show her that there's something in there without her thinking that I'm weak and running off with some other dude that seems stronger to her than me? Like, shit like that goes through men's minds all the time. We may not say it, but it does, because just like you have thoughts, we have thoughts too. We have feelings too. Shit hurts us too, you know? So, yeah, man, men have feelings. That shit hurts. It fucking hurts. And I would wager that sometimes, you know, it's Nikki T says an intellectual man is more attractive than an airhead, physically attractive one. Nikki T, that's a great thing to say in theory, but when you were in high school, how many of the girls were fucking the physically attractive airheads over the nerds? Everybody knows that the women wanted to fuck the dudes that were physically attractive and the jocks. Y'all wasn't checking for nerds in high school. So, I mean, as much as that sounds good, that's a bunch of bullshit. I ain't never heard no woman say, girl, I fucked the shit out of that nerd last night. I couldn't wait to have that nerd up in me. No, that shit never happens. That never fucking happens. A.K.A. Perez says, my experience was those women behave like that until he attracts a woman who's got it together. Then they regret that they dismissed him. True. Facts. Jumanji the Apostate says, woman can smell that fakeness and break him down. Confidence is attractive to men and women, whether you a so-called nerd or not. If you're a confident nerd, some women are attracted to that. Agreed, Jumanji. Agreed. Nikki T says nerds are cute. That's funny. I agree. I get it. You know, I agree with everything you said, Jumanji. Mm-hmm. And I mean, my thing is, you know, since I've left the organization and I've actually figured out who I really am. You know, I'm very confident in who I am, which is why I'm able to turn down. Like, my friends always say, oh, you done keep that girl. Because I'd be like, no, she's not. I always do that. I'm like, no, she's next. And they're like, dude, you're going to have to, you're going to have to accept somebody. You're going to have to accept some of these flaws. And I keep saying, no, I really don't. I'm already by myself. So why should I have to accept some shit I don't like just to be with somebody? That's stupid. I'm not doing that. I will be by myself until somebody comes along that ticks all the boxes. Otherwise, she can just keep going. I'm not going to settle. And I think that that's a lot of people's problems in general. People are like, oh, I'm just going to settle. I'm not going to settle. I'll just be by myself. Great Dane says, when you're young, looks are very important. When you're older, your priorities totally changes. What is sexy totally changes. Okay. I agree with that. But still, you know, looks are still pretty important to me too. Pretty important. I for damn sure don't want no ugly woman waking up to me, next to me in the mornings. But, you know, I don't need no Instagram model either. You know, I'll take a good adjustable 7, a good adjustable 6 or 7. Adjustable 7, she can get 5 for the night and be a good 9. You know what I'm saying? She can get 5 and be a good 8 or 9. Just take everything off. She's a good 7 again. I'm good with that. I'm good with a good 7. I don't need a 10. 10s are too much work. I've had 10 before. 10s are too much work. Anyway, I don't know how we got all into that. Nikki T laughed at me. Hey, adjustable 7s, man. That's where it's at, man. Adjustable 7. That's what I need, man. Jumanji said, what if she looked like Oprah but worth billions? Just have her put on a mask when you smash it. Hey, but you know what? Back in the day, Oprah looked good from about 4 to 5. From about 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, Oprah used to be bad. I was like, damn, Oprah looked good as hell. Oprah got them curves, though, see? Back in the day, man, I was like, Oprah looked kind of good, man. Oprah looked kind of good. That money was making her look good, man. Back in the day, Oprah had it going on. From 4 to 5. I don't know what she looked like. You know, I do know what she looked like after that makeup came off and she didn't look the same. But from 4 to 5 o'clock, Oprah wasn't bad at all. But yeah, man, I think the point of the whole thing is you know, this whole young marriage culture affects the way we think now. It affected the way I thought for a very, very long time. He said a couple of shots of Patron and Oprah looked like Gabrielle Union. I don't think it's that much Patron in the bottle, but Oprah could take it though. She might could get it every now and then. Let me see something. Hold on. Let me see if I can find what I'm talking about. There was this one time, even when Oprah was interviewing, I remember when she was interviewing Dave Chappelle, I was like, Oprah can actually get it. I was like, hold up. Oprah, I don't know what Oprah be doing, but sometimes Oprah looked like she could get it from about 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. From about 4 to 5. I was like, okay, what Oprah doing? You know, now she look like, you know, somebody's great aunt, but back in the day, hold on, let me see if I can find. Let's see what I can find so I can get Jumanji off me. Jumanji gonna be like, this dude is crazy. What is he talking about? KB says, are you going to post a number again? Are you going to call in, KB? Here it is. Here you go. Junk Food says, I think Keith got a thing for the Cougars, older women. Now, I'm talking about Oprah back in the day. I'm not talking about Oprah now. I'm talking about back in the day, Oprah Winfrey. Oprah went to high school with my mother. Here in Nashville, I grew up in North Nashville. There used to be a school called North High. And my mother went to North High. She actually has pictures of her and Oprah in her yearbook from North High. Now, Oprah didn't look good until she started filling out a little bit. She was skinny with a huge ass head, but there was some times when I was like, okay, Oprah, you might can get it. You might can get it. If you catch me on the right day, in the right time, and you got the right outfit on, and the right makeup artist has had a couple minutes with you before I see you, you might have a problem on your hands, Miss Winfrey. You might have a problem on your hands. Just might have a problem, Miss Winfrey. See what I'm talking about? See them curves? You see what I'm talking about? See them curves, man? I gotta, man, see what I'm saying? A black woman with some curves like that, man. Come on now. Now I know the only thing that's keeping those things in is support stuff, but take a woman with curves like that, add about $1 billion to it, man. You can't. That's irresistible. What are you talking about? Who's calling in? KB, you gonna call in? Are you going to call in, KB, before I shut this thing? You better hurry up and call in before this thing gets shut down. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not mad at a woman for getting on Weight Watchers. Now, the surgery is a little bit. Well, I said that too, Jumanji. I said it's some body shaping in there. But I'm just saying, for that moment, for that time period, you can just lift the skirt up a little bit. Anyway, who's calling in, KB? You calling in? Jumanji's gonna call in. Call in, my brother. What you got to say on it? What you got to speak on? Speak on it, my brother. Well, KB asked for the number. Jumanji said he's going to call in too. We'll take these last two and then we can shut it down for the night. All right, who we got? You are on with K Fitz. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Oh, yes, it's Jumanji, man.
What's going on, Jumanji? How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Yeah, I just want to speak on the young marriage in the Watchtower.
Man, go ahead. What you got?
Yeah, man, it's just, because they mostly do it, to have sex.
Oh, yeah.
But, it's like majority of the people I knew got married young. They're not even married no more.
True.
Yeah, and they, a lot of them find the loophole that all we got to do is cheat. If I don't like this marriage, I'll just cheat.
There you go.
Scripturally work, yeah. And then later on, just remarry.
There you go.
Yeah. I never, I don't want to stay too long, but I never got married in the organization, but there was one particular sister that she was telling me, man, you just got to get baptized and we can talk. I'm like, get baptized? I'm like, oh, so if we fornicate, you just don't want to go down. You want us both to get this fellowship, right? I think that's what she was trying to do. You know what I'm saying?
Like, hold on, you gonna take me with you? You want me to go with you?
Yeah. I was unbaptized then, so she was the only one who went down. I was just got a good talking to, but that would have been it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just want to say about that, man. But yeah, man, good show, man. I appreciate you, man.
Likewise, man. I'll holler at you later, Jumanji.
All
right, bro. Yes, sir. Good call, my brother. Thank you for calling in. I think somebody else called in while he was on, so if you did, call back. And he's right. They was just trying to get married to have some sex real quick on the low, get a few pumps in, a couple of good months of pumps. And then, once they get sick of each other, it can only last so long, especially when it's your first time. You ain't really that good at it yet. You dig? Some people don't even cheat. Some just say they did to have grounds. Okay. You are on with K Fitz. What's your name and where you calling from?
This is KB.
What's up, KB? How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
What's on your mind? You always have some funny stuff to say. What's going on, KB?
No, I was just, listening to, the podcast tonight, and just, what you were saying about dating being difficult in the organization, because we're not really taught the skills of how to just date and get to know people. Mm-hmm. And I was talking about this with a friend of mine who's also an ex-JW. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about the criteria that the brothers gave us for looking for a good mate.
Okay.
And basically it was just, someone who goes out in service and someone who comments at the meetings. And we were just saying, like, how is that any type of advice at all for picking a partner? That makes somebody maybe a good student for being on the honor roll, or, if you were in school or something, but that doesn't make a mate, someone who can go out in service and raise their hand. And, I knew so many sisters who had ended up in really abusive relationships because the man that they married put on a good show at the meetings and out in field service. And of course, when you're dating, you have to have a chaperone. So of course, if somebody else is looking, that person is going to continue to put their best foot forward. So they never actually got to know the man until after the wedding, and then realized that he's crazy controlling and super violent. And that happened to two different sisters in my hall, because one sister was married to this one man who was extremely violent, and the elders never did anything. They never disfellowshipped him or anything. She left him and fell out of the truth. Another sister, thinking that it was all his ex-wife's problem, she ends up marrying him, and the same thing. He beat her senseless, one time, and she ended up having to get away from him. And still, this man still had good standing in the congregation, carried the mics, all of that nonsense that they say makes a good man in the congregation. And it also just kind of reminded me that how skewed relationships are in general. Everything is fake. You don't have real friends. You have informants. What do you call that? Informants that you call friends. That if you were ever to show your true self and how you really felt, they would tell on you and get you in trouble. So you don't have real friends. And then you never have a sense of real safety with anybody. And then when you're actually required to make the most important relationship of your life in choosing a mate, you can't even do that with any realistic guidelines. So it's just, I can't even express like how done I am, like just even like thinking about this, because it's just fake from top to bottom. And it just, how it impacts people in such deeply negative ways, and how this organization knows nothing about love. They skew love, they twist it. They twist relationships between, friends, husbands and wives, parents and children. It's mind-boggling to me. It's just mind-boggling to me. Two witnesses showed up at my door on Saturday, and one of the men that was there, he was so manipulative in the way that he was speaking, and it was almost good for me to see, because it was just a good reminder, again, about how the way that they talk, they speak, they interact, with one another and with people outside the organization. It's just all fake nonsense.
Agreed 100%.
That was my rant. I guess I had to rant tonight. So.
Well, that's all right. We don't mind you coming and ranting, KB. You got anything more to rant about? We'll give you a few more minutes. You good? You get it all out?
I'm good. Thank you.
All right, KB. Well, thanks for calling, young lady. I appreciate it.
All right. Take it easy.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That's funny. KB is hilarious. She always has great things to say, but she is so right. I think somebody called while she was on. If you did, area code 617. If you did call while she was on, call back. Area code 617. If you called while KB was on, give us a call back. I'll keep the lines open for a few more minutes just in case you do decide to call back. But someone did call at 9:19. Let me see who that was. That may have just been who just called. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, Free Monique, she's doing very well, very well. She's doing a lot of work with her arts, her plays and things. So she's doing very well. I'll keep up with her on Facebook. She's doing very, very well. She's very happy. So I'm happy to see that she's doing so well. I really enjoyed doing shows with her. She was hilarious. But she's doing very, very well. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's see what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. I'll figure it out. I think I might do leaving the Watchtower is like a bad breakup. I think I might do that one. I've been meaning to do that one for a while. Leaving the Watchtower is like a bad breakup. I just might do that one. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that one. So guys, it has been real. We have been on here for 2 hours. And you know I was not planning on being on here that long. But that's how it always goes. If you haven't already, please like, share, or subscribe, which I'm sure most of you guys have. Also, if you haven't liked, I'm gonna put my if you haven't liked the K Fits My Life podcast on Facebook, I'm going to put a link to that in the chat. Please like the podcast. It might be an easier way to know when the show is going on. And when I have little specials going, like with products, that's the merch store, I'll be doing some special little promos. Nikki T says, love the music, play Feel It on Your Booty next time. No, I don't support R. Kelly. He's an asshole. Junk Food Vegan says, this was a good show. Peace out, everyone. Thank you, Willow B. Thank you for coming through. That's all right. If you don't do Facebook, Great Dane, I'll keep you in mind. It's all right. Don't worry about it. You're too important. I can't leave you out. If somebody wants to email me, you can email me at kfitsmylife@hotmail.com. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook at kfitsmylife for either one of those. Don't forget to hit up Miss Self-Care Boss for that super massage experience that she offers. The links and everything to her website and her ebooks will be in the description. All of her info will be in the description of this show as well. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for coming through tonight. It has been a great show, a fun time. Thanks for everyone calling, and I will see you all tomorrow, same time, same channel. Thank you so much, my lifers, for coming in and chilling with me for these 2 hours. All right. Thank you, KB, for calling in. All right. All right, guys. So I will see you all tomorrow. All right. Thanks a lot, my lifers. Love you guys. Peace.